Hello everyone, welcome back to the garden. Now if you can remember, today we said we'll clean the tools and show you how I strip down the secateurs. So I don't have a lot of tools actually, but we'll show you what I use and then I'll clean one and show you what I do to all of them, and then I can put them in the shed and I know they're ready for next season. Although I do clean them every time I use them, so they're not so bad. I'll show you what we've got. These are the draw hoes. I've got a short handled swan neck, which is more for detail work. This one is just a normal draw hoe on there. This is a little onion hoe. It doesn't go out very often, so because it's a bit rusty, so we'll clean all that up before it goes away. This is one of the main tools I use. I haven't used it for a few days, look, so it's got a little bit of rust on. It's ready for cleaning. That's the 4-prong. Very good piece of kit that is. It does a lot of work. This is a really old field hoe, but it's got that big long blade and it's good if you've got a lot of hoeing to do. It covers some ground quite quick. This hoe is the one, as you can see, I use it most. This is my normal hoeing around the plants every week. I use that one. This one is for any tight work I've got to use. It hasn't had a lot of work. Look, the corners are still on it. If you think these corners are well worn out now, look. Just a normal garden rake comes in this sort of weather when we've got the leaves. I had it out the other day actually doing the leaves. I've got the bulb planter, which we use quite often. Hand trowel. My dig tool. That again, it's ready for cleaning, not putting away. I put a bit of oil on that as well. And then we've got a fork. As you can see, the fork is actually worn down at that side, so we'll soon have to be looking around for a new fork. It's trying to find a fork with a good long handle. The forks we get these days are so short you're stooping all the time when you're forking your garden. The other thing we've got is the spade. They haven't been out for a bit, look, it's been too wet, but that'll want, the blade's okay, but the shaft will want cleaning, and put some oil on it. What we'll do to start with, we'll do the fork and one of the hoes, so you know what I do to all the tools then. This is it then. You can see there's a lot of dirt on the shaft. Some people call it patina, but it is from having dirty hands on it. And I find, I used to do it with wire wool, but my wire wool's gone rusty, so we'll use a bit of sandpaper. It's just very fine sandpaper. It's not going to do much, but just going to take the dirt off it. Do that all the way down. It's all those muddy hands while we've been using it all season. And that's all you need. Do the top. You don't need to take every little bit off down to the wood, because that spoils stuff, but I will do a little bit more there, look. That's it. And a little bit on the handle. That's fine. Now this end, there's no rust really on that one. Perhaps a little bit there, look, so we'll do the same. Just give it a light rub, not that bit of rust off. If you don't get it off now, when you come to get it out, it will be very rusty. Anyway, I'll just pull cloth on that, clean it. on the shaft, and then we'll put the linseed oil on it. I'll turn it over for the putting the oil on so you can see better. I don't put linseed oil onto the steel work or the blades or anything. We'll put some light oil on that. At one time we used to use vegetable oil on the blades, but you'll find that when they've been stood all winter you get them out and they're covered in mildew and all sorts. So some good light oil. Linseed on the shaft. You can see how long I've had it with the state of the bottle, so you don't need a lot. Cloth. Last time I used it I dropped the bottle so that and broke the top, and then just onto the timber, look, like that. And then the handle. Don't forget the ends. And then when it's all nicely covered, you can see when it's covered, get right up to the ferrule there, and then turn your cloth and just give it a little wipe. That takes off any excess that if you put too much on. And then we'll do that then. We'll turn it again. A little bit of thin oil. It's a bit similar to a 3-in-1. Actually this is Singer oil, but it's the same thing. And then just rub all the steel work with it. You can see it's doing a good job when it gets that nice shine on it. And we know there's no rusty bits on there, so it should be alright. Same again, turn your cloth and just wipe the excess off. And then when we go to fetch this out to start work again, it'll be in this condition. There we are then, that's the fork done. Let's do the hoe. It's basically going to be the same, it just takes a little bit. You can see this has been done over the years a good few times because of the colour of it. Don't forget the end, and then I like this hoe because it's got a very long shaft in it, so I'm looking round so I can put another long shaft in the shed just in case this one breaks. There we are, that's that more or less done. Let's just do the end. No real rust on it, a little bit of dirt, that's all. There was a bit of rust in the middle of it. Now I don't sharpen them to put them away. If you sharpen these before you put them away, you've got a rusty line there by the spring. Just take any rough. There you are. The back's pretty good, look. Doesn't want much to it. And then just get the cloth and clean it before we try and oil in that on it. There we go. Alright, we'll finish wiping the shaft before we put the linseed oil on it. And when they get to smooth and well oiled like that, it's a pleasure to work with them. Right, you same as before, a little bit of linseed. You don't need a lot. Put it down. And then change the cloth and wipe the excess off. Oops, not like that though. Just wipe the excess off. Don't forget the top. And that's the shaft done. We turn it over so we can do the steel now. Change of cloth, a little bit of the light oil on it, and then just take that round on one side and the other side, blade, because they still get a lot of dirt off them. Clean it, take the excess off. There you go. And that is, those two tools have been linseed oiled and a light oil on the steel work, and they're now ready to go away for the winter. Now this afternoon I should do all the other tools the same, so everything's done at once. If I leave it, then I'll forget to do it, and some will be done, some won't. Now I have been asked to show how I take the secateurs apart and sharpen them, because secateurs you do sharpen this time of year, because they actually go in the shed where it's nice and dry, and they'll probably be used through the winter anyway. Well, they do here. These are Falco secateurs. I've had them maybe 25-30 years, a long time. As you can see, the bottoms are worn out over the years. These are the oldest ones because it was drilled so I can have it on a chain on my belt while we was doing the trees in the fields, etc. So let's take the number 7s apart. So first thing to do is release them, get them open, then you're not going to trap yourself, and remove the spring one first. This one has teeth that holds the wheel there to stop them loosening, so you need to loosen that one first. If you haven't done it for a while, these can be quite tight. Just do it back so you can lift it and take it off. Can you see where it's off that wheel now? So it's not going to lock that down. And then the spanner, just to start that. If they've been clean regular, then they screw off quite easy. If not, you'll have to screw them all the way. Now what we'll do is we'll move the spanners and we'll lay the things out as we take them off, so you can remember how they go back. Take that off. That comes apart. You can see there's oil still in there after all this time. And then the blade, remember this is quite sharp, comes off, so that can go there. You can take this off if you want it to clean under it, but it's quite clean, so we'll just clean it in situ. Try to loosen it a little bit more. That's it, it should spin round if it gets loose. There you are. And now this gets a bit stiff now and again, so we need to oil that. So we take the handle off as well. That just pulls off. But you can see that's quite dry and dirty. So let's clean it up, sharpen the blade, and then reassemble. Let's clean this first. I think this was the dirtiest part. You clean, if you're doing plenty of oil on them while you're using them, and clean them periodically, they come apart very easy. And they don't clean up too bad either. Look. Diane was flashing, so she had to go and change the battery. Right, back to the secateurs. Now, when you've cleaned some of this mess off this, you can push that down, that comes out, look, and put that carefully with your other bits, so you can turn it over and give it a good clean. Get as much dirt as you can off it. Obviously, secateurs old as this, you're never going to get them shining like new again, but they'll do. And this one, remember we loosen that, look, so it'll come back, so we can clean that. Quite a dirty job. Now you see here where it's quite ditched and black, that's where we'll just get that bit of sandpaper. Make sure it's dry and clean of oil. Oops, don't lose you. Clean of oil on that side, look, and just give it a quick blast with the sandpaper, if you like, just to. This is where the wire wool would have come in, but as I said, it went rusty, so I can't use that. So if you can get some smoothish wire wool to do it with, it'll do it perhaps a bit better than this. That's not so bad. I'll show you the important piece in a moment. And then this blade here, carefully run round it like that. That's that done. Let's clean that and have a look. The back wants doing as well. Good point. Give that to white. Now this side, we'll clean the centre first. This has got a circle, if you can see it, cut out, so you really need to get that clean. You see? Now this is the cutting blade there. So as that acts like a scissors, this is one of the, and it's very, very hard steel, but don't rub too hard wherever you do. And then just one on the inside. Can you see this has got a ledge? That's your cutting ledge. So just take the grime off the other side of it more than anything. Not a lot, just clean it, because periodically I will clean that anyway, because you can do it when the secateurs are open. So clean round this wheel there, push it round, give it a good clean, both sides. That's that done. Now this little stud will want to clean. Let me see, just clean it round. That's thread on one end and a square on the other. Okay. Handle, I don't think we can do a lot for that. It's so old, but we'll clean it best we can. That's it. Now the important part, the blade. Now if you're going to replace your blade, now's a good time. You just go on to Falco's website and send for one, and they're here very quickly. And if you are putting a new blade in, be very, very careful. They come very, very sharp. Now all the Falcos have a number, look. If you can see these are number 7. So when you're ordering, you say you want a blade for Falco number 7, and that's what we'll get. And if you look on there, you can just see through the grime a number 7. That complies. Yeah, they all have a different number, you see. These are number 2, but that one with the swivel handle is number 7. Again, we're just cleaning it first to get the oil and mess off it, and then we'll clean it with that bit of sandpaper, but ideally with wire wool. So this is the actual blade that does the work, so it needs to be cleaned. I do actually clean it quite regular, so it won't take much cleaning. All of it. There you are. I'll not get that no cleaner than that for its age. We'll do this back here because you don't do that very often. That's that done. Now on the back, remember that's the cutting edge, so I tend to clean it and keep away from that edge a little bit. I'll show you why in a moment, because we're actually going to sharpen it a little bit. But if you're rubbing over the edge, you'll take the cutting edge off it. So that's enough for that. Now we'll sharpen it a little bit. They don't take a lot of sharpening, these. They usually stay very sharp. The steel is very hard, so it's just a case. This is a diamond. I don't know where I bought it. I've had it ages. And what I do, I just at the angle just rub it round and round, and as you can see, it soon puts an edge on it, and then round the edge a few times. There you are. It's put quite an edge on that. When you finish, put it flat, and it's important to keep it flat, and just take any burrs that you put on it, but you find that you haven't got any burrs because they're quite hard. That is quite sharp now. Now back to the next piece, which is the little wheel. The fiddly bits are the hardest to clean. This is the wheel. When it's in place, stops the blades from loosening. Not going to get that awfully clean, but we'll get most of it off, and off the back. And then the springs, I always put a bit of oil on the spring through the season. We actually bought Gemma a pair of Secateurs one year. Anyway, she was out in the garden and she actually lost the spring. Now we sent to Falco and they sent us another spring, so you can buy any part you like as long as you remember the number. They'll give you the parts. Now we've got to put it back together again, so we put that back in there, look, like that. We ought to really, I know there's plenty of oil on it, we'll put a little spot of oil on it. So it's very, very thin oil, so, and just pop that in. That's nice. That's nice. Now on that we put the blade, but the same again for next time we take it off. If we put that bit of oil on it, and these, quite simple, if you get it the right way round, go on there. Now I'll just take it off because I should have showed you really. There's 3 studs, 1, 2, 3, that hold the blade in place, look. You see? And just press it and that holds. Then we can load this, and this goes, that square goes on that square spindle in there, so if it doesn't look like it's going to drop on, just turn your spindle a bit. Alright, keep them apart if you can. Okay, next thing to do is to put this over that bolt there, turn it to make sure everything's locked in like that. Then we put the wheel on next, so a little bit of oil, not a lot, you don't need a lot on. So when you come to take it off next time, it'll come off quite easy. Finger tight, and feels a bit stiff, but we'll see to that in a moment. The handle, now this was dry and getting a bit stiff when I was last using it, so we need to put some oil on that. Then that just clicks like that, so that when you come to use it, now it feels stiff, that's fine. When we put the spring in, which just squeezes together, you see they're beginning to work. Now we need to tighten this one here. If you tighten it too much, it'll lock, you see? That's no good. It needs to just move. And if you listen to it, you can hear that blade going past that one. And that's what we're listening for. But usually if it releases itself quite easy, it's probably too loose. You see, that's locked. So we need a little smidge back, that's it. And I can hear those blades going past each other. You put this piece down on so that the cogs meet each other, so that this, when it's screwed down tight, stops that from undoing. Yeah? So we tighten that up next, finger tight first. And then you need to lock this quite well, but watch it don't move your big wheel while you're doing it. If it does, then you'll have to start balancing it again. That's good. Happy with that. Shut them. Put the lock over. Now that's your secateurs cleaned and sharpened and ready for next year's work. I should do the same with this one, but obviously having to do it slowly to explain to you it takes a bit longer, but it doesn't take a lot of time to do it, but it pays to do it. As I say, those have been with me for maybe 25-30 years now. If you've been misusing them like we all do and you've damaged your blade, just send for another blade and do exactly the same, but just change the blade, but be careful with the sharp. Now that'll be it for this time. Remember, if you finish with your tools, just give them a quick clean and put them away. You'll find that they last a lot longer. Now we have another film to do where we're going to take you down the garden and show you the progress down there. It's very, very wet, but we will take you down and show you especially the winter greens we've got growing and all the manured beds, all waiting for digging because it's too wet to touch at the moment. But we'll show you those next time on. Take care everyone. Bye now.